Alright, y'all, what's going on now? This is Greed Omega for Greed on Life, and I'm just doing this quick review of the Order 1886. I just wrapped this game up yesterday, and I wanted to just hop right into it because it's still fresh in my mind, and just get into why this game was a big letdown overall. Starting off with these sections here that you're seeing me play through. This section here, it's on the airship, and you're supposed to be stealth. So, if you ruin your stuff for any reason whatsoever, you get shot, and then it's over. There's usually only one method to get rid of the enemy, so you would have to stealth kill them. By that, I'll show you in a second. There's an area where the triangle button it's highlighted, and you'll see a pulsating circle, which would indicate the time that you need to press it. But it's just such a freaking hassle. It ends up becoming an annoyance and a nuisance and a very very bad choice. You see that, there it is. See, this happened to me so many times, so many times. I press it at the wrong time and I get murdered because they know exactly where you are and they one shot you and it's over. It's very annoying, very tedious. It seemed like, and then not to mention, as you can see, the movement at this moment here. This is the movement you have. They just have so much control over the way the game is played that it feels a little overbearing. Where you can't run when you want to run. You have to walk the way they want you to walk. You have to crawl when they want you. Like everything is step by step exactly the way Ready at Dawn wants it to be. So it does feel a little bit much when it comes time to playing the game. You feel like you don't really have control over anything. It's just you're just a bystander in the events of the game. But let's get right into the other issues that I've had with the game. Namely, one is the length. Uh, I knew it was short, but I didn't know how short. Now the game feels short because I'm not sure how many hours it is. The length of the campaign is probably long enough, but the reason why I feel short is that just when things start to pick up, when the story starts to evolve, and you start to actually start caring about the characters, and you start caring about what's going on in the storyline, boom, the game ends. It's like, what? You went through this whole thing just so the game could end abruptly without much of a closure to anything. They're just like, okay, it's over, and then that's it. It's just credits roll. Very unsatisfying ending, and again, I think that's the main reason why people felt that it was short because it finished on I wouldn't say it's a cliffhanger, but it just finished like as if they were rushed almost. Felt like felt like Ready at Dawn was rushed. Ultimately, as I mentioned, the lack of control was a big issue as well. Um, you know, having to play the game exactly the way they want you to play. You, like I said, you can't really control your character. You can't aim your gun when you want to. It's only when they want you to aim your gun. Otherwise, it just does a little zoom and that's it. Everything is exactly the way they want it. So taking so much control away from the player does kind of suck, to be honest about that one. The stealth sequences are horrible, horrible. Probably the worst. Probably, I would say maybe the worst stealth sequences like ever in any game. It's really that bad, um, and unnecessary. You know, you have a silent a crossbow, but they don't give you enough shots, to deal with the situation. Um, when it comes down to the Lycans, which it's one of the more interesting parts of the game. The fact that you have these werewolf-like creatures and things, and there's also vampires. This is spoiler. There's vampires and werewolves. So just when things start to unravel in that sense, the game's over. You don't really get the opportunity to really, like, I didn't even get a trophy. There's a trophy for killing 15 Lycans. I didn't even get that trophy because the amount of action is so rare. It's all just constant cinematics, which is another gripe. It's just constant cinematics. You're watching the game more than you're actually playing it. Such a long time you're watching, and then even when you do have control, as I mentioned before, it's so restricted. You can only walk when you know get into certain areas. You can only uh, aim your gun in certain areas. So it's almost like you're still in the cinematic, but you just have control over where the character goes. But essentially, you can only, and still the game is so linear. There's just one path. You cannot get lost. There's no exploration. Um, so, and surprisingly, I was a big supporter of this game, man. I was really excited when I purchased the game at 20 bucks. I thought it was such a great deal. And for 20 bucks, I guess the review is a little different because at 20 bucks, it's not as much of an investment. But this game came out as a full price $60 proposition. And at 60 bucks, and this is why I'd have to rate it the way I rated it, because ultimately that's what it is. It's supposed to be a $60 game, and at 60 bucks, I would not go near this thing with a 10-foot pole. This game is probably 4.5 or 5 out of 10. That's my score. Um, very low, very low, and it's a shame because I was super excited about this game, and it was definitely a letdown. So for those of you out there who, you know, don't get me wrong, as I mentioned, the story does get enjoyable at one point, closer toward the end, and you will enjoy yourself once you get to this stage like where the game play is right now. Once you're in this area of the game, it does get a lot better, but it ends shortly thereafter. So ultimately, for 20 bucks, sure, pick it up, but it's not a must play, it's not a must buy. 5 out of 10. This is Greed Omega for Greed on Life, and here is just another just so you can get another idea of what I was talking about. Peace. Greed on Life.